Nikki Haley just lost a massive donor. How's it going, guys? Welcome back to UnwokeThoughts. Today we are talking about Americans for prosperity, or as Donald Trump puts it, Americans for no prosperity. They are a Koch brothers super PAC that were supporting Nikki Haley. Here in a post from Truth Social, Donald Trump says Americans for no prosperity have just stated that Haley has no chance to win and they will stop funding her campaign effective immediately. What a waste of money. Yes, guys, what a colossal waste of money it was to fund Nikki Haley's campaign, and it looks like it is slowly grinding to a halt. But despite the fact that she lost the primary in her own home state of South Carolina, and not only that, but it was worse than that, she lost her own hometown of Bamberg 65 to 35% against Trump. She keeps tweeting stuff like this. This was literally the night she lost the election. She says, "I'm a woman of my word. I'm not giving up this fight when a majority of Americans disapprove of both Trump and Biden." Yeah, where are those numbers? What numbers are you talking about? In the next 10 days, 21 states and territories will speak. They have the right to a real choice, not a Soviet-style election with only one candidate, and I have a duty to give them that choice. Yeah, guys, so she is playing the American who is standing up for the people, standing up for democracy. We're not a Soviet-style country. We allow elections. Well, if that's true, should I run for election and get mad when I'm not on the ballot? Is that what I should do? I'm thinking about doing that, guys. I don't know. Would you vote for me? Let me know. But regardless of these donors who delusionally continue to back Nikki Haley's campaign, she really doesn't have a whole lot of support. I mean, you just saw what happened in her own home state of North Carolina, her own home county of Bamberg. She lost, and she lost big time. And this whole 40% number that they are talking about that she got, that she likes to tout because, you know, when she takes second place, it's basically equivalent to taking first place for her. That number even comes with an asterisk because she was mailing out these flyers and urging Democrat voters to vote for her to attack Donald Trump in absence of their own Democrat primary because Joe Biden is just the accepted de facto Democrat nominee. But look at this flyer, guys. It says, "Notice of eligibility." This is what she was mailing out to Democrat voters right here. "If you did not vote in the February 3rd Democratic primary, you are eligible to vote on February the 24th. She is saying, listen, if you did not vote in the Democrat primary on February the 3rd, because, you know, everyone just, okay, Joe Biden is the nominee, so why even vote? She's saying, you're still eligible. So if you want to get back at Donald Trump, if you want to go after the evil orange man, the bad guy that everyone hates because he's evil and he's attacking democracy and he's causing chaos in our government, vote for me. Use your vote strategically." So she is trying to artificially inflate her numbers. So when you look at that 40% number, it's not real. Her real numbers are probably a lot lower. I would say about 40% of that is probably Democrats who voted. But then it says the Republican presidential primary is February the 24th. Your vote can make a difference. Please participate by voting for Nikki Haley and make your voice heard. Yeah, so this is conniving, manipulative Nikki Haley trying to fudge the numbers a little bit, trying to obfuscate the process to make Donald Trump look bad because she knows that there are a lot of people, you know, especially in the Democratic Party, and there are some Republicans as well and a few independents who have the TDS. Yes, guys, you know what that is, TDS? Trump derangement syndrome. That's the sentiment that she is trying to leverage in order to, you know, diminish Donald Trump. And she's trying to get everyone involved. Like, listen, do you think Donald Trump is a threat to our democracy? Well, guess what? Even if you don't vote for me in the general election, you can still vote for me just to, you know, poke at Donald Trump, just to make him a little bit worse. Just like what a lot of these lawsuits are doing. It's death by 1,000 cuts. They will do anything, no matter how small, to discredit Donald Trump because they are panicking. They know that Donald Trump has record support, and anything that can help, they will use. But it seems like just about everybody in South Carolina is against Nikki Haley. This is Attorney General Alan Wilson talking about her campaign and what happened on Saturday. And even he says, like, listen, you got to look at this 40% number that Nikki Haley got. And you got to realize that a lot of this was Democrat voters because of these mailers that she mailed out. Listen to this.
Let's talk about the race. So give us some historical perspective about what is happening or what happened last night in the election.
Last night, I think, was historical. I mean, you had a former governor, first daughter of South Carolina, lose by 20 points. That is huge. And I know people are trying to qualify it, but there were 3 ballot questions on last night's election. There was a ballot question on tort reform, judicial reform, and on closing South Carolina's primaries. The question that performed the worst, they were all supermajority questions, between 70 and 90%. The question that performed the worst yesterday in the low 70s was, should we close South Carolina's primaries? What that tells me is there's probably 5 to 10% of the people who voted in yesterday's Republican primary who were Democrats or non-registered Republicans who came in and they were using the open primary system to vote for someone else. So Nikki Haley's numbers were probably in the mid to low 30s, not really at 39 or 40%. So it was a bigger win for Trump than you probably even imagine.
Yeah, and again, it wasn't Democrats just trying to do funny business in the Republican primary. It was Nikki Haley actively trying to get those voters into the Republican primary to do that. And again, you're saying you think among Republican voters, her numbers are much lower than what we actually saw there.
Yeah, so it's Nikki Haley, in fact, that is trying to do funny business. But that funny business is not working because despite the fact that she's had all these big donors, she's had millions and millions and millions spent on her campaign. She has Biden donors. It's like she has all the money in the world. But money's not going to save you, Nikki Haley, because everyone, including your mega donors who have unlimited cash, are seeing the writing on the wall. Look at this. Just in, Koch network stopped spending on Nikki Haley's campaign for president. The Koch network has decided to cease its financial support for her campaign. But let's take a look at this, guys. The influential conservative organization, Americans for Prosperity, Americans for No Prosperity, in fact, actually, which had been backing Nikki Haley in the Republican presidential primary, has decided to cease its financial support for her campaign. Politico had the scoop, obtaining an internal email. Americans for Prosperity CEO Emily Seidel stated that the organization's political branch, AFP Action, needs to take stock of the expenditure priorities following Nikki Haley's defeat in South Carolina primary. Seidel mentioned that the Koch-affiliated group will redirect its attention towards competitive Senate and House races. So they're basically saying that, listen, Nikki Haley is not even competitive here. Look how much she lost by in South Carolina. But she made it clear that she will continue to fight and we wholeheartedly support her in this effort. But given the challenges in the primary states ahead, we don't believe any outside group can make a material difference to widen her path to victory, Seidel said. Wow, that is a massive burn for Nikki Haley. They don't believe any outside group. So even these Biden donors, even these massive Democrat donors that still, are trickling money into her campaign, even as much money as she can have all the money in the world, but this won't make a material difference. I mean, I just love to hear this. I love to see this, guys, because I believe that there's too much money involved in politics. And a lot of these candidates are basically like walking zombies being propped up by infinite money. And I love to see it when money starts to have less of an influence on a campaign. I love to see it. But what do you think about this, guys? What do you think about the Koch brothers, the Americans for Prosperity, dropping their support of Nikki Haley? Do you think this is an indication that she is going to drop out of the race soon? Or do you think she is propped up enough by these Democrat donors, these Biden donors, enough to continue on with her campaign and screeching in our ears? What do you think about that? What do you think about the AG of South Carolina saying that it's just not Nikki Haley's time? Just move along. We don't need you. Let me know what you think about this down below in the comments. Like and subscribe to my channel. I would really appreciate it. But until then, I will see you on the next one.